Hey there, my name is Lisa Nickel, and welcome to the Sacred and Rooted podcast. On this podcast, we explore a wide range of topics from how to deepen your connection with the divine to how to make your day-to-day life work better for you, all through mindset, spirituality, cyclical living, and my personal favorite, meditation. My wish for you is that you live a life you are excited about on a soul level, where you feel grounded, where you feel divinely powerful, and most of all, free to be you. I hope you enjoy the show. The music for my podcast is created by my beautiful sister, Sarah Russell. Her contact info is in the show notes. Hello, this is Lisa, host of the Sacred and Rooted podcast, but you've heard that already in the intro. That I am still so proud of actually completing. Finally, after literally years. Anyways, so just as a reminder for anyone who puts some things off longer than they should, maybe it's not as big a deal as you think, but yeah, because you've never done it before, you're not sure. So just maybe try it, give it a go. It'll probably work itself out faster than how long you've been delaying it. If you're anything like me, that is. Anyways, so this episode is going to be all about archangels, and it's going to be a little just super brief or intro level because I am at an intro level with it as well. And probably for the past year or two, probably two, because I don't know, I don't keep track of time as well as I used to, that's for sure. But yeah, so I've been playing around, I've been welcoming them in, saying, like just opening up the door. And so I've done a bunch of research, I've done a bunch of reading, listened to, a podcast. Anyways, so I have sort of put together a compilation of, just a few tidbits on each one so that if you are, always wanted to know more or, heard, some people, really gravitate towards angels, you never really have. But you're curious, what it's all about, this episode would be for you. And then maybe even you might have like your favorite one or two that you sort of have a more, let's say they're your go-to angels. And there's a whole bunch of them that I don't even know. Like, I mean, I've heard of them briefly maybe at some point because we grew up Catholic, and so at some point different angels are mentioned, but as far as really knowing what to do with them or how to kind of interact, that was not something that I really ever knew how to do. So, and I do also want to just say, I first came across angels, like I said, just based on the fact that I grew up Catholic. But the angels are not they're not only in one religion. So there's no like religion that's really, they're not in a box of any certain religion. And so I have mentioned with each one of them kind of where they have been written about or talked about, just to show you how non-religious they are. Religions are man-made, so angels are far over and above that. And I think of them as sort of, next to God, universe, divine, mother, however you want to think about it. I think of them as sort of the like the very close associates, or like almost like the next best thing, if you want to think of it like that. They have, the way I've had it explained to me is that they were never incarnated on Earth, and so they were not humans that died and now became angels. Archangels are their own kind of energetic beings, and they haven't ever been incarnated on Earth or any other planet or dimensions as far as anyone seems to know or think. But they are sort of the next closest source of energy next to the divine. And so I think of them in general most of the time. Lately, like the last year or two, I've been thinking them or trying, like, getting into the zone of thinking about them specifically for different things and sort of like, like different experts or something where, if I had, my, I don't know, I needed to get like a new car, I would go to the car dealership. If I needed a new bike, I'd go to the bike place. This is sort of like, okay, well, if I need extra help in my life with this, then I'm gonna, you know, pray, talk, commune with Archangel so and so because that's sort of their genre or specialty, say. And so to just play around with it, I don't think. Well, you can't really go. You definitely can't go wrong. It's just a matter of almost opening up the door, because we all have free will. Nobody's gonna, there's no angel that's gonna come and manhandle you and force you to do something. And so to just take it like, hey, I'm open to interacting with my archangels, like, please almost like show yourselves or like make yourselves known or however you want to talk to them about whatever. Um, but to just open the door, because they certainly stand by, but they're not going to, like I said, they're not really going to intervene. I mean, unless maybe it was a life and death situation, and even then, I'm not sure. Um, so the stuff that I have put together is based on, my research over time, but also probably majority of it. Um, there's a book that I really enjoyed. It's called Looking for Angels, and it's by Nicole Bigley and Scott Guerin. And it's really good at just kind of an introductory level overview. It's very informative. Nicole Bigley also has, actually, I think she synced it with Scott Guerin. I think they both have the podcast together now. Um, but she started it, and it's called A Psychic Story, and I really enjoy it because it goes into a lot of different realms as far as just the unseen world and just the way people experience it, what's possible out there in every kind of aspect other than literal physical 3D reality. So it's kind of it's cool. I like it. If that kind of sparks your interest, I'll definitely link it in the show notes. And then I have card decks from Colette Baron Reed and Doreen Virtue, which have different angel references in them. And so I've used that as well. The cards sometimes they sort of help me because they have the images of the archangels on them. Uh, it sort of helps me visualize a little bit more than I would otherwise. So yeah, again, just give them permission to interact with you and see what happens. And whether or not you are like a visual person who sees beings or energies, or if you're audient and you hear things or you just sense and you know things, just see what's up and play with it. It's just all an experiment. So just have fun. Welcome the angels. They're not certainly there for your highest good. They're only a huge, team of cheerleaders for every one of us. So it's just going to be more fun than not. Okay, so the first main archangel, which probably most people have heard of, is Archangel Michael. He's sort of like the leader. If you wanted to say there was a leader, it would be him. He's also known as Saint Michael. And I think in the Bible somewhere it's like the heavenly host, like the leader of the heavenly host. I don't know where that comes from in the Bible, but that sounds so familiar to me. So he's been written about in, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. So he sort of extends all over the place. like I said, the archangels are not in a box in a certain one religion. They've appeared, they've people have had experiences with archangels forever. And so it just depends on who's interacting with them, whether they ended up in the Bible or in some other text or some other text or who knows what, right? So think of them as like beyond religion and beyond. They're certainly not put in a box. They're archangels, so they kind of they're too big for that. Anyways, he is usually, I guess, depicted with a sword. He's kind of a warrior. But at the same time, it's not like a war kind of. I mean, if he's an archangel, they're not war kind of things of our energies. He's basically an angel of strength and protection who oversees your all of our life purpose. And he knows the roles that your soul has been born to fulfill. And so, again, cheerleader, like the biggest cheerleader, and he's protecting. And so he is a warrior in that sense, where he almost like a father bear, mama bear energy, where it's like, okay, yeah, we're protecting you. And so he will walk through important and necessary life changes, giving you courage, strength, and self confidence. So, if you are struggling through something, if you're at your wits' end and you're just thinking, like, geez, what am I going to do? Like, how in the hell? And, and if this resonates with you, then use him as your person to call on. It doesn't have to be anybody in particular. It's whoever resonates most with you. And so that is what he typically, kind of his role, if you want to say. But they're also, all of them are archangels. There's no like literal definitive lines between them. So it is, again, it's energetic. So it's very free flow between the angel. Like there's no like, that's my business. Nope, that's your business. Um, these are almost more man-made definitions and how more people use them than not, but it can be whatever resonates with you, invent it, do what works for you. And whoever seems to come into your life more than others, maybe that's your angel. So just go with it, and don't feel like you can only do this or you can only do that, because this is beyond like black and white earth rules, if you want to say. All right, so that's Archangel Michael. The next one is Archangel Gabriel, who is known as the messenger angel. He's in a lot of, Christianity, Judaism, Islam. You call upon him to inspire your creative ideas, and he gives you courage and the opportunities to express them. He's also known as the messenger of God for the stories that he has in the Bible, um, and so he helps people, like with communication, with acts of love, with anything that has to do with extending love and peace. And so when, for example, if you I don't know, had a big talk in front of a group of people, maybe you would, just say a little prayer real quick before you left or went on stage to say, like, please make sure, my message is well received. Make sure, give me the strength, to remember everything well, to express it how I want, how the intention is meant to be expressed, and so on. Um, and so to actually also with him to just he wants you to know or to remind you that you are powerful. You have a purpose. Your dreams are attainable. You what you say matters, and all that good stuff. And so he's like the communications is sort of like his main specialty, if you want to even think of it like that. But again, if you resonate with Archangel Gabriel for anything, just they're never the distinction is a little bit earthy. Then there's Archangel Haniel, and known as the Angel of Joy, glory of God, grace of God, that kind of thing. She's in the Bible. She kind of represents a goddess-like angel of like grace and feminine spirituality. Sort of the feminine aspects of spirituality are a little more like the intuition, the clairvoyance. Um, she's sort of like a high priestess kind of vibe. And so she'll act as your spiritual teacher and advisor to aid you through feelings or ideas, like anything that you're going through, just to kind of influence you in the direction for the highest good of your soul. And she can be called upon to actually increase like your connection and your relations with the angels. And so maybe that's a really good place to start too if she resonates with you. And to even call on her to just express that you're interested in opening up to your spiritual gifts, because a lot of people block them. They don't want them. It makes them uncomfortable because we are so well versed in just being in this 3D world, and there's so much more out there. But it can be scary at first, especially depending on who you are, whether it kind of all becomes evident at the same time or if it's titrated a little bit so you can kind of get used to it, get comfortable to some stuff, and then get on to the next things. But you could call on her to kind of moderate that, I guess, so that it works out, where you're integrating the experiences and not just scared of them or completely unsure if you're going crazy or not. Probably not, but just saying. So she's associated with, things like the full moon, your intuition, your clairs, um, and helping you connect with your joy and happiness, your healing abilities, that kind of thing. That was Archangel Haniel. The next one up is Archangel Raziel, known as the Angel of Mysteries. He is found in Jewish mysticism, specifically in the Kabbalah. He's sort of a wizard-like angel, which is fun. Known for an angel of spiritual secrets and mysteries. So he opens doors of opportunity for you. And he'll also speed you along the pathway of manifestation, hypothetically. So maybe he's a good one to call on, when you're kind of like losing patience with something. It's like, can this just happen right now, please? So give it a go. This is the fun thing about life, is that you can sort of study one or the other, and then play around with it and kind of get a vibe for how they feel to you, which ones feel just a little more like close to you than others, and that sort of thing. So he also, offers advice to spiritual seekers on, dream interpretation, past life memories, esoteric concepts. So he's a neat guy. Angel of mysteries. So yeah, anything that's sort of like the mystic realm, the divine magic, all the unseen stuff obviously would be in his ballpark. So then Archangel Sandalphon is the next one, known as the Angel of Music. He's also in Jewish mysticism, especially the Kabbalah and in the Bible as well. You can call upon him to increase your faith and your commitment to your dreams and goals. So if you haven't actually ever heard of him, because at first I hadn't heard of him at all, seems like a very practical one to increase your faith and commitment in your hopes and dreams. He wants you to know that your prayers have been answered and heard, and to have faith. And so the timing is sometimes frustrating, but to have faith. He also has, I know I have a sister who's very musical, and apparently he sends messages and healing through music. And so that could be really interesting to play around with for any of the musicians out there. Uh, because, yeah, music is very powerful and very healing. And so that would be fascinating. I wonder even if, do you know when you sometimes turn on the radio or you get out, first hit play on something? And, the words that are being sung in the song are just sort of like the words that you needed to hear at that minute. And then even sometimes my phone just, a song will just start playing and it's like, whoa. But the words I usually take in because it usually is some kind of message to me. I wonder if that's Archangel Sandalphon. I bet that would be how that would work. Anyways, something to think about. Next one up is Archangel Raphael. Name means God heals. He's been written about pre-Christian writing, as well as Jewish texts, the Bible, Gnostic traditional texts, and as well in the Quran. And so, yeah, all over the place. The angel of health and traveling, and the patron of soulmates. So he's like a relational angel. So if you are having trouble or looking for inspiration, or how to work something out with like a romantic partner, friendship, business partner, family, anybody, it's anything that's a relationship, that's your angel, your archangel. And then see how it goes. All right, and the next archangel, and I think I say guy and I say her and him like very loosely, like the angels were never humans anyways, and all souls have no actual sex related to them. So so the energy of these archangels is not a he or she or anything. It's just my own like lack of vocabulary, I guess. So Archangel Metatron, Prince of Presence. He's written about in Judaism, Gnosticism, and Islam. He can increase your motivation and energy levels so that you can accomplish your priorities. It sounds very helpful. He's also known to warp time, which is along the lines of one of the other ones a few times back, where to sort of increase your productivity or fold down timelines so it happens a little more, maybe speeds up synchronicities like that, so it's a little faster coming to fruition, whatever you're dreaming for, whatever you're working on. And he wants you to remember that life doesn't have to be quite as hard as we make it out to be. Focus, get what's important to you done, and life will just be a little easier that way, instead of getting into so many different sidetracks. Okay, so the next one is Archangel Raguel, angel of justice and fairness, and also known as the friend of God. Written about in Judaism, Ethiopian Orthodox Church, Melkite Catholic Church. There's a bunch of different smaller sectors where he's in their writings too, and then Christian religions in general, but not actually in the Bible directly, and sort of like the offshoot texts. So this archangel creates harmony within relationships, and he can help you make decisions that involve other people. So sometimes, sometimes the hardest decisions are ones that aren't just for us. It's for, maybe with the kids are impacted, other friends of yours are impacted, other family members are. And so he can, you know, help you find peace in a solution that can resolve the issue for everyone. Um, and that's Archangel Raguel. Archangel Ariel, Lioness of God, Spirit of Air, Angel of Nature. This angel is primarily in Judaism and Christianity. This is a nature spirit angel. She's close to the earth. She helps with like day-to-day practical material things like needs for your home, food, clothing, just like very basic things. And so she's a great one to call on for strength and support if you're worried about finances or hard times in your day-to-day material needs. Um, and so she'll help you awaken your spirit, see the gratitude and the beauty in today, but also moving forward, bring in more abundance for you into the material world. All right. Just a few more. I think there was 15 of them, which I didn't realize there was so many, but I don't know. I never made a list of them either when I was in church. Anyways, the next archangel up is Azrael, angel of death. Uh, he's an angel in Islam and some other Jewish traditions. Uh, this one is one we probably will all need to call on at different points in our lives when we're dealing with grief, loss, and just feeling completely overwhelmed with the grieving process. And so Azrael will help you move forward. Um, like letting go of the past, being at peace with the situation, with your new reality, and just moving forward in a fearless way and not closing down and collapsing in under the pressure or just the sadness or the loss of it all. So yeah, helps during comfort during stressful times and situations, connecting you to heaven, healing grief, sadness, depression, mental or emotional issues, like any of the loss kind of topics. And so depending on what you've lost, you may be grieving, you may be depressed, you may be sad, you may be having an emotional breakdown, you may have snapped a little bit because it's just so like your reality has just done a complete 180 and you are just like, what is happening here? And so this archangel is very reassuring, comforting, and just, will help you move into a state of peace with whatever your new reality is. The next archangel, I think there's only, oh yeah, there is a few more. Sorry, guys. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot. 15. Jeez. I'll have to, yeah, in the show notes, I'll write the order of them so that you can kind of like scan through if you don't want to listen to every single one of them. But if you haven't gotten into angels much, then this might be a real nice overview. And then you can do your own research and do your own reading on it and see, or call them in and see what the experience is and just have a real experience with them and see how you feel about which ones give you the most comfort, the most interaction, that kind of thing. All right, so next Next one after the angel of death is the angel of mercy, Archangel Zadkiel. He's in Christian and Jewish texts and helps you remember who you are in terms of your true spiritual heritage as a child of God, or you could, child of God, universe, spirit, whatever, Mother Earth, however you want to think of it. So call on this archangel to increase your self-esteem and your feelings of self-worth and deservedness. It's really powerful to recognize and acknowledge for each of us that we have a long line of ancestors behind us and a long line of future descendants in front of us, and we each have a link in sort of the relay race of lifetimes, where it's like we have the baton right now, but we're passing it on to the next generation. And so whether you're literally a mother or a father or not, it has nothing to do with that. But think of, like, we are all here on planet Earth, and we need to be able to pass on a society, a planet that, we are proud of the changes of, which, I mean, I don't know. We can say that in some ways right now, but there's a lot of, changes that still need to work their way through the system. So that's all I mean. Like, if some people that are having trouble, feeling kind of lonely, or like it doesn't matter, it does help to remember, like, your ancestors and the, literal hundreds of thousands of people that came before you, that lived their lives and struggled and worked themselves to the bone so that you could have the simple pleasures that you have today. Even something as simple as thinking about, 100 years ago, when you're in a warm shower, spend a few seconds thinking about the fact that basically nobody you look up to from 100 years ago or longer ever experienced that. And that's just like the thought of just having a warm shower. It's one of my favorite things. And so the fact that, if whatever past lives, I would have never had a warm shower, neither did my ancestors of any sort. And so it is amazing to see how far we've come, even though it does seem like we obviously have more to go. We're always evolving, but we have come a long way, and each of you are part of the whole system. We're all here. We're a piece of the puzzle that can really bring this planet and humanity forward in much improved ways than we have kind of been operating under for the last 2 centuries or more. So Archangel Zadkiel, Angel of Mercy, for just the reminder you need, if you need one, whenever you need one, your true spiritual heritage as a child of the universe, as a child of God, as a child of Mama Gaia. There's so many people here, energies and literal people to support you. Okay, so the next archangel is Archangel Jophiel. The name means beauty of God. Again, in Christian and Jewish writings, this archangel helps us experience beautiful emotions and think beautiful, positive thoughts. And so call upon this archangel whenever you need a boost in how you feel about yourself, your life, and the world. And so if you are someone who's struggling with seeing the beauty in something, or life in general, because of, you've been knocked back a few times with situations in your life, it just seems too hard to really, you're not gaining traction anywhere. And so if you really are sort of dulled to the beauty of existence, this would be your archangel, Archangel Jophiel. If you need some inspiration. And you can see, I think at this point, how there's a few, like there's a few that would go, the one I just read before, Archangel Zadkiel. Like if you don't need to just talk to only one at a time or that kind of thing. If you wanted to call in any number of them, um, it would be great. So again, play around with it, see what works for you, and have fun. Next archangel is Archangel Chamuel. I'm not sure if it's a Sham or a Chamuel, but whatever. It's he who seeks God. In the Christian traditions, he's been written about, and that was about as far as I could see. And this archangel can help you find whatever you're seeking, including like anything, your right relationships or peace in your relationships, like a career that you find fulfilling. Follow your intuition, which is like a huge way that angels speak to us is through our intuition. They're sort of, I picture them in my mind's eye, like, if you're thinking about something and you're like, should I do this or should I do that? And then you kind of get a hit like, okay, yeah, well, that's what I'm going to do. I almost feel like it's like the angels are beside you, kind of like nudging your arm, like, do that one. Yeah, go do that one. And so it's kind of just interesting to literally, like I said 1,000 times, I think now, just play around with it. See how your intuition, how you engage with your intuition, and if it changes a little flavor, depending on maybe whether there's an archangel there or some other angel spirit guide. Or if it's just your soul, like obviously your soul speaks to you through intuition as well. So there's a lot of ways energy can influence you. And this archangel's kind of message is just the relationships in your life. They're some of your biggest gifts, even if they're hard sometimes and they're, it's annoying to have to kind of work through all your shit so that you can show up as a better, person in the relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or friendship. Relationships are where we see ourselves, or whoever loves us sees us, reflects back to us kind of like our positives and negatives, and we get to kind of choose to work on whatever we want to. But also because then we reciprocally love the other person, it's sort of almost like an inspiring thing where you want to do better, you want to be better for the ones you love, right? So he's the archangel in your corner for that, for sure. So then there's Archangel Uriel, who means, well, his name means God of light. Christian tradition, Jewish tradition, Gnostic writings, all over the place. This archangel helps with mental functioning, including like your focus, your concentration. If you need a new idea, or if you need if you've got some kind of problem and you're like, man, I don't know what the solution for this is. And so you're sort of just waiting for some inspiration because you can only see a couple solutions and none of them look very good. So this archangel may be the one to step in and kind of like spark your, the solution that is, kind of like the sacred third. It's like the best solution for everybody. This archangel will also increase your confidence in your intelligence and your own wisdom. And then as well as in your determination and your strength and your commitment to see things through. So it's really a lot of mental related elements where it's like your focus, your concentration, ideas, solutions, anything like that, this is Archangel Uriel. And if you've actually lost your spark and you're just kind of like, blah, I don't want to think about things. I can't keep things straight. I'm just like totally fried. He will help you get your spark back. And so that would be a reason to kind of see, open the doors to a relationship with him. And last but not least, Archangel Jeremiel. His name means mercy of God or angel of hope. This archangel helps you evaluate your life so you can clearly decide upon appropriate changes. And so, if you have a big decision to make, you obviously don't take it lightly. You spend a lot of time alone, pondering, making lists of like pros, cons, and all the things, talking to all the people. You can use this archangel to kind of like, give me the wisdom, give me the insight to see like what should I do? Like, please. And so he'll help you review what needs to be transformed or released or healed and whatever. And also he's a good reminder for like the adventure of the journey. And so an adventure is never all roses and butterflies and rainbows. There's ups and downs to it, usually guaranteed. But to really gather confidence and strength in yourself as you journey through life, as you go through ups and downs in your adventure of life. And then at this age, I'm like, what am I? I'm 46. And so it's like I've been through a bunch of things. And so I know that, I can handle whatever is going to be thrown my way, whatever, good, bad, and ugly. I have tools. I have patience. I have wisdom to know that, the cycles are the cycles. They are not forever. And so that helps a great deal. And if you want to call on Archangel Jeremiel to, boost that just a little bit more, to feel like you have your spirit team is kind of right beside you, that would be great. And so also he's reminding us that things happen all in perfect timing. And this one I constantly remind myself of because I'm somebody who, well, I think my tendency or my natural way of thinking is like, come on. Like, I should have already done this, or I need to do this, need to do that to keep up with the thing. And as I get older, I am getting more and more comfortable with just reminding myself of the timing of my life. And as you get more comfortable, I think you'll get more comfortable with the divine timing of your life, the more you trust your intuition. Because as you are trusting your intuition and all of the ways that you sense things that are not your just five senses, you'll start to see how elegantly and synchronistically things work out. When you really give yourself over to that, it's incredible. And so then you don't want to mess with the timing of anything. Like, you don't want to force anything, and you don't want to, because it'll like mess with the synchronicities of everything. And it's almost like a freaking work of art. The way intuition and timing works like a symphony of magic. And the more you release control, and I used to be a control person. I am not as much anymore for this exact reason. Because when I do allow it, like my foot off the gas, excuse me, I just had to have a quick sneeze. There's a lot of magic that happens. And when I'm pressing and trying to push something through and make something happen, the magic is like lost on me. And so it's as you trust in the universe and who knows, like the divine timing is something that's so much more wise than we are. And so to allow that into your life, and then from there, you will come to believe that your life is perfectly timed. Like it could not be better. Uh, you could not time it better if you tried, and you can try. You can try your entire life if you want, but it will never be more perfectly timed than if you just let the universe do its thing and you just show up and you just be authentic and present and available, and it'll be like beyond. Anyways, that is the podcast on Archangels, kind of 101 introductory session to Archangels. I have been having some fun with them. I've been trying to remember, I guess, which one's which one, and then kind of calling them in. And it's just kind of a fun experiment to see how it works, what happens, if I even feel a presence, if I sense anything different with my intuition, just to see how it goes. Archangel Michael seems to be my main guy, but it also could just be that I'm the most familiar with that archangel from just past childhood and history. So maybe that's just because of that more than anything else too. And then whether you see them or not, literally, or feel their essence, or just know that maybe some people do it where they see different colors, different elements, different things, and they kind of start to associate that with a specific archangel depending on what they were doing before or what they were doing the day before, and that kind of thing. So try it out. Life is one big experiment. So that's just another avenue of the unseen cheerleading forces that are in your life, whether you want to acknowledge them or not, they're there. And so anytime that you're sort of opening your consciousness to their presence, to their existence, they will be very happy to be there with you, because they are already there, but in a more I guess recognizable way, because once you're open to it, then you see the signs, you see the things that are happening, and kind of put them together that way. All right, and before I forget, since I did forget on my last episode because I was so excited about my intro music and actually having an intro, but if you want to send me an email with a story about angels in particular, just because this is the angel episode, but also anything that's just your experience with your intuition, the unseen world, the unseen forces for good in the world. I'd love to hear about it, whether you want to write it down, like type it out, or voice message me, whichever works for me. You can send them to my email, which is lisa@lisanicol.ca. And I intend to put podcast episodes together when I get, several. I'll issue a podcast with the stories just so that we can share our experiences and normalize the whole conversation about it and make it as regular a thing to discuss as like the weather or what you had for lunch or whatever. To just really create a world where the unseen is as prioritized as the material world, or even more, is what my true actual intention is. But if it was equal, that'd be great. so that's my kind of new podcast stream here. Once we get a couple like some people, like once I collect like, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them, I'll put them in an episode and we'll start that way. All right. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you in the next episode.